Welcome back. So, like I said, we're going into our sustainability part, and we encourage a lot of groups to also think about this. Think about how we can electrify our vehicles. Think about how we can connect into a lot of our communities, and also think about how this is going to sustain itself from decades on, and not just for this year and next year. So, we're about to go into our next presentation, but first, I want to play an intro video for this organization based out of Portland, and you can see kind of how they also fit into this modal sustainability. Let's take a look.
So we'll watch this closely. It looks like we will see 3 days in a row of triple-digit temperatures by Tuesday back in the mid-90s. So breaking daily record highs this weekend.
We're the Street Trust, and we're tired of normal. Because normal costs us time and money stuck in traffic. Normal means that the hot days keep getting hotter. Normal abandons the need of low-income communities and communities of color. And normal threatens the health and safety of everyone who uses our streets. Here at the Street Trust, we believe our future can be extraordinary. And when normal isn't working, we take to the streets and become the change we want to see. In our streets, we fight for equity and justice. We foster creativity and imagination. We champion prosperity and innovation. And we celebrate the magic that happens when we slow down and stop to smell the roses. In our streets,
اینجا خیابان‌های ما هست.
Ojuana titiware.
Estas son nuestras calles.
And these are our streets.
normal doesn't make the cut. These are our streets, and we deserve way more than normal. Join the Street Trust in saying no to normal. And let's make our streets extraordinary together.
Really got me energized there. Joining us now is Madi Carlson. Madi is the Education and Engagement Director at the Street Trust in Portland, Oregon. The Street Trust advocates for multimodal transportation options that prioritize safety, accessibility, equity, and climate justice. Madi, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Bakari. I'm so happy to be here celebrating Transit Equity Day. Everything we do at the Street Trust is about expanding transportation choices to reduce dependence on drive-alone trips and make our streets safer where motor vehicles interact with other street users. We envision a complete, safe, low-carbon, multimodal transportation system that contributes to equity in access, opportunity, health, and prosperity for people and communities around the Portland metro region and beyond. We advocate to break the political gridlock to address unsafe and incomplete public streets that threaten lives and livelihoods, and to win policy and investments that save lives, reduce barriers, and expand opportunities to the people and neighborhoods our current system neglects. Central to our mission is direct advocacy for public policy to help us achieve our vision. We offer the perspective of street users, our members, and our partners, informed by our own rigorous research and policy development. Here's a fun historical fact. The Street Trust was formed over 30 years ago in 1991 in front of a bus. When a Portlander wasn't allowed to bring his bike on a TriMet bus, a small group of advocates quickly formed and became a volunteer group. They named the Portland Area Bicycle Coalition, and a year later they launched a nonprofit they called the Bicycle Transportation Alliance. The BTA advocated for better bicycling infrastructure in Portland for many, many years. Then in 2017, we became the Street Trust and expanded our mission to embrace and center multimodality, and that's where we are today. Many of our most dedicated members are still with us because of our origin story and their love of bicycling for transportation. But we at the Street Trust recognize that bicyclists are pedestrians, are transit riders, and that all of us depend upon professional drivers, service trucks, and freight trains to one extent or another. We take a holistic, multimodal approach under the belief that our shared interests as street users are greater than our differences as people who prefer to roll or ride or drive. For 13 years, we've hosted the Oregon Active Transportation Summit, and we are currently planning this year's programming, so you should all come join us here in Portland, June 5th through 7th. Last year, our theme was Move into Action, with the goal to take big ideas from our transportation future and make them actionable. Our day one plenaries were all about transit, starting with the state of Oregon's transit systems, featuring transit general managers from around the state, urban, suburban, and rural. We welcome Sam DeSue Jr., the General Manager of TriMet here in Portland, Jameson T. Otten, the General Manager and Chief Executive Officer of Lane Transit District, and Andrea Bro, the Transportation Director of Cascades East Transit. In addition to learning about their varied challenges and successes, it was incredibly informative to see what they had in common despite the diverse sizes and geographies of their regions. The panel spoke about COVID ridership recovery, public safety on transit, the future innovations in mobility that they're excited about, and how their agencies think about and engage in the conversation about zero fare transit. And then after the GM spoke and answered audience questions, we had a great community panel that expanded on everything learned from the first panel. This group was moderated by Opal with panelists from TIAC, which is TriMet's Transit Equity Advisory Committee, nonprofit Better Eugene Springfield Transportation, the president of SEIU, the Service Employees International Union, Local 49, and a transit dependent member of SEIU, Local 49. You can watch the conversations on our YouTube channel, which are being shared in the chat. And then for this year's Transit Equity Day, we started our celebration last Friday at Rosa Parks Elementary School, where TriMet General Manager Sam DeSue Jr. made the official announcement that TriMet would not collect fares on Sunday, February 4th, because we have reduced Sunday service, but we have quite a bit of service still, even on Sundays. So that was our fare-free day here in the Portland metro region. And that was made official at the Friday press event in honor of Rosa Parks, and the announcement was made in front of our 2024 Rosa Parks themed TriMet bus, which was unveiled there at the event. This is the 4th year that TriMet celebrated the civil rights icon's legacy in this way, and Rosa Parks Day is now an annual tradition for our entire region, and it's also celebrated with a fare-free day by neighboring transit agency C-Tran and by the Portland Streetcar. And TriMet thanked their board member, Keith Edwards, who first brought up the idea of free fares for Rosa Parks Day after having learned about the concept from community members. We at the Street celebrated Transit Equity Day yesterday, and TriMet brought their demonstration bus bike rack to the parking lot outside our offices, and I hosted a miniature version of our How to Put Your Bike on the Bus clinic. Usually that's an hour-long experience with lots of hands-on practice and knowledge sharing, but for Rosa Parks' birthday, trying out the rack was just a little part of our party that also featured music and trivia and giveaways. In my role as the Education and Engagement Director at the Street Trust, I'm able to incorporate transit in many different ways for our various programs and events, and I thought I'd end by sharing a couple examples with you all today. We Bike is one of our programs. That's the Street Trust's program to inspire more trans people of all genders, gender nonconforming people, two-spirit, and women, both trans and cis, to incorporate a bike into their lives and use biking as a way to meet their transportation needs and personal goals. We Bike events are often beginner-friendly bike rides and multimodal bike share plus transit rides around the region and in the region, but there's been a lot of interest in getting away to nature the last few years. Portland has worldwide acclaim for both our biking culture and for our beautiful green spaces, but not every Portlander feels welcome and safe taking advantage of them, and We Bike is changing that. So when pairing biking 20 miles, and that's a relatively flat and slow and social 20 miles, with our Max Light Rail, it's possible, and I would dare say easy, to bring a group of 20 newbies to nature to experience their first bike camping trip. And that's what we did with We Bike 3 times in the last 2 years. We Bike events see a higher percentage of low-income and car-free, either by choice or by circumstance, participants than our general community events, so a multimodal trip like this might be the only way some of these folks get to go camping. I have to say there's something magical about getting all the way to a far-off campground via pedal power and transit, and everyone comes away feeling so confident and already thinking about how they can apply their newfound resilience to other aspects of their lives, whether it's a bigger bike adventure, or starting to use transit or biking for their everyday commutes and errand running. In addition to our beautiful green spaces, Portland also has lovely blue spaces. We celebrated one for 2022's 10th and final, The Big Float. It's a parade and a party on the Willamette River run by the nonprofit Human Access Project to inspire people to appreciate and protect our local river. A lot of people don't realize that you don't have to drive to events like this, so we led a Heat Island to River Relief parade. 2 parades, in fact. We led a guided bus ride parade and a guided bike ride parade from Portland's Lentz neighborhood, which experiences the highest and deadliest temperatures in the region every summer. So learning how to use air-conditioned buses to escape the heat for fun and for safety was a critical thing we did that year.
Absolutely. I'm teaching people how to camp and without a car. That is amazing. Well, we have the website below, www.thestreettrust.org. If you're in the Portland area, if you want to work with these folks or Opal, I've met with Opal before. It's also another wonderful, great group of people. Definitely get into it. Madi Carlson from The Street Trust. Thank you so much.
Thank you.